Welcome to another episode of the Women's Hoop Show. We've got the Final Four locked in, and not to brag, but I did nail those predictions. Just saying, all number ones. I'm so excited. This is only the second time ever we've had the same Final Four teams as the year before, and just the fifth time all number one seeds made it this far. So yeah, a lot of history being made. But don't worry, we'll get you fully caught up on how all these number 4-1 seeds got here. And we're not just going to run through it. We're going to do it in a fun way with the Court Queens theme superlative round. And if you don't know, Court Queens is my recently released book on the history of women's basketball. If you don't know that by now, come on. And you got to get it if you don't have it. After that, we'll preview the Final Four matchups, make our picks, and figure out who's exactly cutting down the nets. Now, as we always say, that alone could be a full episode, but we can't ignore what's happening in the WNBA right now. With the new CBA agreed to, the league is entering a massive moment. Connecticut is saying goodbye, and Houston is saying hello again. That's right, the Comets are back. Plus, the expansion draft is right around the corner. Now that is happening the same day as the Final Four. Who do we talk to? Who made that decision? So we'll give you everything you need to know about that. And because there's already so much happening before the WNBA season tips off, we've got an announcement for you at the end of the show. Consider it an upcoming treat. What is it? You have to stick around to find out. But otherwise, let's get into it. Autumn Johnson. Woo! That was a lot. And there's a lot to talk about.
What's up, my girl? Yes, there's so much to talk about. I'm so excited. We're finally here. The season flew by, but we're here. I love it.
We're here. I feel like the last time we checked in was at the beginning of March, and now we are checking in on literally March 31st. What a month it has been.
It flew by. No, for sure. I just got to Phoenix not too long ago, but I'm hyped. Like every single time you come into the site, it's always decked out. Like the city does such a great job just rolling out the red carpet. So I'm already amped. It feels like game day. I'm excited to talk about everything with you and all the action we saw not too long ago and previewing what we're going to see. So I'm ready to go. Let the madness begin.
Let the madness begin. I mean, the madness was already maddening, I guess, if we want to use
March
that.
Madness was maddening for sure. Yeah.
Man, I mean, Autumn, as we're going to zoom in super close on some of these, but as we zoom out, like this has been such a great tournament and such a great tournament to, I don't know, speak to just the talent that is in our game right now. And I know that it's all number one seeds in the Final Four, and we're going to talk about that and how, it's happened before and how people may be looking in saying, wow, these one seeds are dominating everybody. But we got our first Cinderella story, and we got some upsets along the way, and we got some names that maybe we didn't know or get a lot of shine. So it was a little bit of everything. And overall, it was really fun. It was so fun to watch all these games.
100%. And I feel like, yes, we have the same teams, that we had last year, but this Final Four just feels different. It hits different. Every single time I'm talking to these players after the post game, they're talking about a sense of urgency because it's a lot of their last rides. Like last year, we looked at a Paige Beckers, like, can she cement herself as one of the UConn greats with the national championship? Now we're doing it across the board with an AZ Fudd trying to get one more, or Raven Johnson, and now Tanaya Latson trying to get one together. There's 6 seniors on UCLA and Rory Harmon over for Texas. Everyone wants it bad, and you can tell in their passion and their voice and their urgency and their play, everything. And these stars are delivering. Like this Final Four feels so right, and it just hits different.
It really does. It really does. These are the teams that we want to see battle it out for the national championship. But speaking of battles, there were some battles throughout this tournament, and there were some really good games. Yes, there were some lopsided wins, which I know we're going to talk about when we talk about UConn and Texas a little bit later. But there were some performances that, when there is a Court Queens book volume 2, that some of these performances would be in there. Like
sure,
there were some hoopers. And one way for us to kind of go through some of those games were some superlatives. We love superlatives here, especially Autumn and I. We
We
always
do.
do them
We live
to
for it.
break them down. They're so fun. And so this is going to be Court Queens themed. So I want to start with the queen of defense. And I think this
Oh.
only goes to one person. The crown is already engraved with the name Hannah Hidalgo from Notre Dame. Autumn, what the heck did Hannah Hidalgo just do? Like, what did
I
we
don't
just witness?
I don't even know if you can truly put it in words, but she's putting on for the 5'6" queens, okay? I am a
Yes,
5'6" girly.
me.
Okay,
I'm 5'5".
right,
I'll round. I'll get
okay.
up. I'm gonna be up there. Yeah, 5'6".
I'm 5'5.5", so
Yeah, there we go. We're
not too
rounding
much.
up.
We're rounding up. Basketball, look, all the rosters do it, so I'm gonna do it. But
Yeah, me
she's
too.
putting on. Like, she plays like she's 6'6". Her mentality
Mhm.
is just that. She's a pest, she's a menace. And I love how she says she goes Super Saiyan mode when she gets in that mode. Like, you can see her turn it on. And that's a scary place to one be in, like when you're going up against her because she wants you to feel so uncomfortable. She gave teams fits all season and broke history along the way. She broke the D1 single season steals record, and she
Hmm.
almost had a quadruple double. She had 10 steals in that matchup. And this is nothing normal. Like, this was just another day in the office for Hannah Hidalgo because she's leading the nation once again, 3 years in a row in steals in the nation. So shout out to her. I mean, likely Naismith DPOY, you have to give it to her at this point.
I mean, you have to. That stat
Mhm.
of breaking the D1 record in steals for a single season. That's men or
Crazy.
women. That is the best defensive thief in all of college basketball in the D1 level. Like, that
Yeah.
is a crown right there. But I mean, that stat line in the Vanderbilt game, one, for them to even be in the Vanderbilt game was huge. They had
Mhm.
to upset
Yes.
Ohio State to get there when Jelani Cambridge had a 40 piece, and that didn't matter because Hannah Hidalgo was a pest. Then you
Mhm.
get to that Vanderbilt game, and this is what we were excited to watch. These are New Jersey girls. It was Michaela Blakes going up against Hannah Hidalgo. We saw some AAU footage of them battling
Right.
back in the day, and the storyline was just all built up. And I said, Aubrey Galvin is incredible. She had a
Mhm.
great game, but she is a freshman point guard.
Yeah.
And Hannah Hidalgo was like a shark, just waiting in the
Yes.
wings, just waiting for her to
Da-da,
make a mistake, just waiting
da-da.
for her to jump a pass. And just to know that that was going to happen and then to see it
Yeah.
actually happen was
What do you
just,
do?
oh, what do you do? Like, that is in
You
your
know it's
nightmares.
coming.
That's like in your dreams the day before you play Hannah Hidalgo. You're like, okay,
Mhm.
don't turn the ball over. Don't turn your back to her. And she's still there. And she's still going to get the ball somehow.
Every time.
Oh,
She makes you think. She changes the way teams play, how players play. She makes you think constantly. She speeds you up, makes you uncomfortable. And the fact you're a complete player when we're talking about those 10 steals and just kind of glaze over the 31 points.
yeah.
Like, and she
It
didn't
was
hit
30.
threes. No threes,
Here's
31 points.
here's the thing. This stat line will forever stay in my mind. 31 points, 11 rebounds. This is 5'6", by the way. 31 points, 11 rebounds, 10 steals, and 7 assists. She almost
Wild.
had a quadruple double, like you said, in the biggest game of her life, like against another two team. I think that's what really separates her. This wasn't just a regular
For
season
sure.
game where we saw those 16 steals. That was still incredible. But this is when the lights are bright. And going up against UConn, that matchup was so much history, Autumn, like so much
Yeah.
history between Notre Dame and UConn. And I love that after the game was over, Gino says to her, are you eligible to play pro? Like, can you go pro right now? And she said, no, I want another shot at you
I
next
love
year.
that.
Love it. I love
Live
it.
for it. She's
Oh,
built different. She's built for March. She
she is.
embodies everything, personifies everything about March Madness. Like Hannah Hidalgo, queen of defense, queen period, crowner.
Period. Period. Last thing I'll say, did you think that this Notre Dame roster was going to make it this far. I
I
did
don't think
not. I will raise my
I don't
hand.
we were already doing the storylines of, "Oh, how cool it would be for, the student and the teacher going up
Yeah.
against each other, Shay Ralph, Gino Oriema. We get all these matchups, Michaela Blake's going up against, Sarah Strong, National Player of the Year." We were already creating the narratives. No one had the 6th seed in Notre Dame, but they have completely turned this program around. Shout out to Neil Ivy, what she's been able to
Yeah,
do with this program and just pushing through too. It was 3 straight years to the Sweet 16. Getting over that hump, you could tell how good that felt, especially with the season they had. But I
for
spoke to
sure.
Hannah Hidalgo and she talked about just like her leadership, like that's been the biggest growth for her this season. And that's truly taken them a long way. So count on Notre Dame to make some more noise next year. I'm excited to see what they have cooking up.
Yeah, the number 1 draft class, I believe, coming in.
Mm,
So, they're not done. They're not done.
no,
So super.
never done.
Whew, that was so exciting. Okay, next superlative. The queen of the big moment. And this crown goes to one of the best buzzer beaters that I have seen in a really long time. Because, there is a technicality, especially in writing. Buzzer beater is when the time expires. There is
Mm.
no opportunity, no timeout for someone to get a chance to even think twice. This is a buzzer beater, and that has to go to Ashlon Jackson with Duke taking down the number 2 seed LSU. Autumn, please reenact your reaction when you
Oh,
saw that ball go round and round and round and then eventually go in. Please,
girl,
a dramatic expression.
you might have to turn my mic down because I was screaming. I'm so sorry, my neighbors, if you are watching this, that's exactly what was happening. So sorry, but I first of all, that was the most dramatic shot ever in history.
Drama, cinema,
Like, I
cinema.
was like, "Please." A toilet bowl shot is insane, but like you said, it'll go down as one of the biggest shots in March Madness, and even to go back and look at the possession before of how like she missed both free throws, that's a pure vet move to shake it off, goldfish memory, like next shot mentality. And she got it to give her team the edge to knock out LSU. I love how Kara Lawson was like, I knew I was going to 3. Like, that's a coach that rides for you, that has confidence in you no matter what.
Mhm.
And then her dad also posted, last year after your potential game winner versus South Carolina, you looked at me with a straight face and was like, I'll shoot that ish again. And I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah,
and she did. I was like,
she did.
wow. Like, that's a competitor. I love everything about her, like, just like her aura, everything, like, she is built different, and you can tell in her mentality, like, she wants those moments. She's built for those moments. She's like, "I'm not gonna let anything shake me, no matter
Mhm.
what. This is why I hoop and why I compete. I trust myself." And you can
Yeah.
tell that unwavering confidence in her.
Man, what a moment. I
Mhm.
yelled so loud. My puppy thought there was an emergency. He like
Oh.
ran up to me. He's like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "You're new
Mom, what's
here.
going
This is a
on?
buzzer beater." But it was wild.
It's hilarious.
this the idea of all of the things that led up to that moment. Like you talked about,
Yeah.
those missed free throws, and then Michaela Williams making her free throws, and then
Mhm.
Flage or not Flage, Mylasia Fuwiley getting the
Eyelashes.
steal,
Yep.
missing that layup
Missing.
that would have just gave them a bigger lead. So much drama.
Chaos.
But
Madness.
what I will say is the buzzer beater was incredible, but
Yeah,
Duke deserved to win that game. Like
for sure.
they played so great for like
Mhm.
36 minutes. Like I feel like just the end of the game, LSU started coming on. And I was like, if LSU wins this game from this late
Mhm.
surge, I'm going to be upset. Like I think Duke played a really
They
good
deserved
game
it.
and they
Yeah.
deserve to win. So that's something that the basketball gods just got right. and that ball just going down because it could have popped out, but it just
Truly.
rolled back in. Duke deserved to be that. The whole storyline of Duke at the start of this season, not having a great season, to having
Mhm.
this incredible run, winning the ACC tournament, to Kara Lawson coming back to Sacramento as a former Sacramento Monarch in front of
Yeah.
all her old fans. Like, there were just so many storylines that just made me so happy that this Duke team was able to pull it out. It was incredible.
And we talk about seniors too, like Ashlon Jackson, just having that moment. I mean, we highlighted Flau'jae Johnson as well, just seeing the stars compete and go at it. That's always fun to me. And
Mhm.
March is about delivering. Duke delivered. They were the disciplined team in that matchup.
Yes.
You mentioned all the storylines, but just to see again that when you trust the process, it doesn't matter. Like, this team knew before anyone knew. That 3-6 team did not shake. They did not waver in what they wanted to do this season. Went off on an incredible run in the ACC, became the ACC champs, came in with confidence, and made some noise. So I love to
Mhm.
see comeback stories like that. And it was like a revenge tour. They faced every single team in that 3-6 stretch and was like, no, we're not that same team. So shout out to
Yeah.
Duke.
Shout out to Duke. And I will say they looked promising in their next game,
Mhm.
against UCLA, but it's just so hard to play, even if it's just a couple days
Yeah.
after that emotional roller coaster of a buzzer beater. It's
Mhm.
tough to bounce back and still play at that level of caliber. So still a
Yeah.
great season. They have nothing to hang their head for. It was great. Okay.
Mhm.
The next one that I want to do, the unsung queen. And I think we have a couple for this one. But please
Okay.
tell us who your pick is for the unsung queen.
How could you not go with Sarah Graves? I am literally obsessed with her. Like, everything about her, her aura, everything, her energy, her love for her teammates, and she's a bucket. First of all, Miss Stay Ready so you don't have to get ready. The fact that
Yes.
she comes in, it could be a minute, it could be 20 seconds, it could whatever. She's hitting the shot. And for you to still stay warm, your shot, your jumper to still be crisp. She's hit middies, she's hit threes. My girl is ice cold. So I love it. I love it so much. The fact that she has become a fan favorite is also just, I love it. She's a senior getting her shine. I love her parents up there with like the Graves shirts and
I
everything.
love it.
Love. Like one of my favorite stories out of this tournament.
Incredible. Sarah Graves, she's on Texas. She doesn't get it. She's a senior, like you said. She doesn't get a lot of playing time, but she brings the energy. And she is known as like the glue person on the team. She's first up when someone shoots a three. She has a
Yep.
celebration ready. And my favorite thing
Handshake.
about this is that she made a LinkedIn post because, like we said, she's a
Yes.
senior. So she's like trying to get a regular job after this is all said and done. She made a long LinkedIn post saying how she is such a team player. And they were, it says, "Why did 10,000 fans chant for me last night? I'm not a star athlete. I barely get on the court. But here are two lessons from my business classes I learned and how I can apply it to this situation." Like,
Come
genius.
on.
She's
Come
she's playing
on.
chess. She's playing chess. You guys are playing checkers. This is on a whole nother level right
Hire
here.
her. Hire her now. I would want her on my team. Oh my goodness. No,
It's all
I
resume
also
building.
truly, I also heard that she got on the team as a walk-on
Mhm.
because she bought like Vic Schaefer's playbook that, he sells or whatever. He learned the plays, or she learned the plays, excuse me, and she was able to come in and show what she was able to do during like tryouts and got on the team, and that truly blew away Vic Schaefer. Like,
Whoa.
this girl is always one step ahead. I love that.
Oh, yes, that's
She
queen behavior. Absolutely.
like, come on,
That's
Sarah.
incredible. That's incredible.
Yeah,
Okay, the last one for the unsung queen. Um, I gotta shout out Virginia here. I gotta shout out Kamora Johnson
it's a good one.
because what in the world? I became a Virginia fan overnight. I
Yeah.
was rooting for the underdog, the Cinderella story. We don't get this in the women's tournament. We just don't get it. So to have a double-digit seed this far in the tournament from the first four coming from the play-in to this far in the tournament, an overtime win, a double overtime win. Like, it was so much fun to root for. And the story, of course, of her living miles, just a few miles away from campus, being a ball
Yeah.
girl, idolizing, Dawn Staley when she was at Virginia, like just so many stories that just make March. And then to have this incredible historic run on top of it is
Mhm.
it was so fun. So yes, you deserve your crown. The whole team, everyone. It was so easy to root for
Everyone.
them.
I
Yeah.
know. I also am in love with literally everything about Kimora's game, her energy, her passion, like the hometown hero. Her last name's Johnson, so, like, I was riding for her. She felt like my cousin. Like, we were locked in. And Coach Mox too, like, I love when Black women in this game, like, succeed. We don't have
Mhm.
many, like, Black women who are coaches, so for Coach Mox to get this moment, it was everything to me. Like, you see like Dawn Staley, having little pieces of the net, passing it, and just like putting the game forward in a
Yeah,
sense in that way. I love that. And we don't hear many names like this, but for more people to know about Coach Mox and hear her story and how Kimora bought into her vision even when she didn't even play like coach a game yet. Like she
yeah,
told her this is what we could do and she believed in that. And I'm excited to see, what happens because now Virginia, I know a lot of people want to play for that program. So this run probably definitely turned the trajectory for this program in general.
for sure. That's what I was gonna say. This helped them with recruiting probably
Yeah,
better than any speech that she could have given on someone's couch. Like,
yeah,
they wanted to win for each other and for their coach, and you saw that and you could see it through the screen. I couldn't even
yeah,
imagine what it was like in practice and leading up to it. So I'm super excited for the future of
yeah.
Virginia program. So okay. I know that we could probably do 50 million more of these
We could.
superlatives, just because there was so much queen behavior throughout this tournament. But we're going to take a break because when we come back, we are going to talk about the ultimate queens because there's only 4 teams left and they're trying to go for the biggest crown of all, the national championship. So let's take a break and we'll come back. We'll talk about that. Welcome back to the Women's Hoop Show. And I can't believe it, but it is Final Four time. Autumn, you're already in Phoenix. Hopefully, you're getting it ready for me. I'll be there in a couple days. But
Yes.
we're in for such a treat. And let me
Mhm,
say, Tampa was fun last year, but the
mhm.
games were a little wah wah. And I was so sad about it. Like, I was like
Yeah,
really excited for these matchups. But this year, like you said in the beginning of this pod, it feels different. Even though
mhm,
it is the same teams, this feels like a different energy about
yeah,
them. And we are going to have UCLA going up against Texas, UConn
mhm.
going up against South Carolina. What is your favorite storyline of the
Ooh,
plethora of
whoa,
storylines that are here? What's your
that
favorite
is a
one?
loaded question. There's so many, I don't know if I could choose.
I
Can I do
know, I
per
know.
team? Can I do per
Yeah,
team,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
perhaps?
Let's do it.
Okay,
Let's do it.
okay. Starting with UConn, I love the back-to-back storyline for UConn because
Mhm.
this is something we're accustomed to, but haven't seen it in a while since the Stewie days. And the
Yeah.
fact they're in position once again to do it, I think it makes it even more special because before this last championship, their UConn's 12th, it was a dry spell considering the fact that UConn couldn't stay healthy. And
Mhm.
regardless, they were always in the Final Four. This is the 25th Final Four for UConn, but just couldn't get over that hump because they didn't have bodies. Now that's a completely different story. So I love that. And I'll throw in one more. Obviously, getting AZ another one would be really cool, just to solidify her legacy at UConn. For UCLA, 6 seniors. This could be like an all rookie WNBA team.
Mhm.
Um, Making the Final Four last year, I love the business trip approach that they have. They're like, "Okay, we've experienced the flashing lights. Like, this is our last chance to do this. We know what it takes. Let's go in and make history." And I think, UCLA is in a better position than they are last year to do so. So I
Yes.
love that. For Texas, Rory Harmon, you can't say enough about her journey. She tore her ACL, sat out for a while. Madison Booker, ran the show for this team. And I even think that put this team in a better position as well because, Madison Booker had to lead a team, use her voice, run point guard, do all the things. And I think there was a hidden blessing in that. So we're
Mhm.
seeing that now come into play, and it feels like a sense of urgency for Rory Harmon to get a chip with Vic Schaefer. That vision that they've created for each other. It feels like this could be their year for that. And for South Carolina, I love the Raven Johnson, Tania Latson story. Like the best friends trying to do this once again. They've won state championships together. They've played AAU high school ball together. And Raven Johnson, her name is synonymous with winning, but it seems like it's like, yeah, the national championship will be cool for me. Yeah, three, which who can say that? She is a
Yeah, I'll
winner.
take it. Yeah,
I'll
sure.
take it. But she's like, "Yeah, but I want this for Tania Latson, who's getting this for the first time. I want this for all these girls who are coming in." She's not even thinking about herself. So the leader
Mhm.
she is, I love that. And I love this for Tania. Like she deserves to be in a deep run in March. She was
Yeah.
the last year's leading scorer in the nation. We deserve Tania Latson in every single weekend of March Madness. So I love that we're getting that. There's so many storylines, but I think those are my top favorites for each team.
Wow. Okay. That just got me even more excited to see
You
how this
know?
all plays out. There's so much at stake for each
Mhm.
team. I think that's my favorite part. Is like,
Mm.
yes, you can look at it through the lens of, oh, UConn's here again, South Carolina's here again. But if you just tweak it slightly, you can say, okay, can UConn do it again? Are they
Mm.
as good as they were before when they were dominating?
Yeah.
Yes, it's undefeated. Can they stay undefeated all the way through the finish line? Like that's
Mhm.
a lot at stake. That's a lot
Yep.
because you know that UConn teams have done it. Can this team do it? South Carolina, you got blown out by UConn last year in the championship game. It wasn't even close. And
Yeah.
everyone thought it was going to go down to the wire. Is that going to fuel you? Is that going
Mhm.
to piss you off? Like, I know Raven Johnson being the winner that she is, she's like, dang, that is the worst loss on my record, on her flawless
Yeah.
resume. I'm sure she wants to redeem herself on what bigger stage than the Final Four to get that rematch to be able to do that.
Mhm.
And then on the other side, Texas is looking so good right now,
Ooh.
Autumn. They are
Yeah.
looking almost unbeatable. Like we
Yeah.
talked about it before. If their
Yeah.
defense, we knew what their defense was going to do. It's a Vic Schaefer defense. We know that. But when you
Mhm.
add the scoring that has been taking place by Maddie Booker, looks like she has blinders on. You know how they put those on horses and it's like you
Mhm.
can only see straight
Yeah.
ahead? That's exactly what she has on. She is
Yeah.
like a machine. And I'm curious to see if we keep getting that all the way through for the Final Four. They have felt like they've had home court advantage a little bit throughout this whole tournament, literally for those first rounds, and then in Fort Worth, right down the road. So, can that fuel them? Are the fans going to travel to Phoenix to fuel them even more? So, I'm super interested in that. And then on the other side with UCLA, my biggest thing and my gripe with UCLA all season was like, do I believe them? Do I believe them
Mm.
to be a national championship team? And I will say that game, that second half against Duke, made a believer in me because I think
Mm.
2 years ago, maybe even last year, they could have folded. They
Mhm.
wouldn't have had a strong start. I think Kara Lawson had an incredible defensive scheme against 6'7" Lauren Betts. And I was like, okay, what are you going to do, Corey Close? What are you going to do, seniors? Like, this is your chance to show us. And that second half, they did exactly that. They came out, they had fire. Dugalich was huge off the bench. Like, so many pieces, and their depth in UCLA was like, okay, all right, this
Yeah.
is a different team than last year.
Mhm.
Now I'm excited to see how they go
Mhm.
up against Texas, even though that's the only team that beat them, you guys. The only team that beat them in the regular season was the team they are about to play in the Final Four. So,
Mhm.
to that point, there is so much here. But
Yeah.
one thing for each game that I want to point out, and we talked about it a little bit earlier, for UConn and South Carolina, the stars are going to do what they do. Sarah Strong,
Yeah.
she's going to be Sarah Strong. AZ Fudd. We know Raven Johnson, Tanaya Latson, Tessa Johnson is going to have an incredible game. But talk about the freshmen and how they
Yes.
have emerged as
Woo.
these blooming little flowers right in front of our eyes. And that could be a matchup to watch.
For sure. And not necessarily saying like they're going to guard each other in a sense, but the fact that they're coming off the bench, this freshman showdown, and Blanca Quinones for UConn and Agat McKeer for South Carolina, to have massive games like that, you heard all season, not all season long, but all tournament long, how tough the Elite Eight is, because that's the game you have to get through to get to the Final Four. The
Mm-hmm.
fact that these freshmen came in, stepped into the moment, and owned it. Blanco with 20 points off the bench. A guy with 18 points off the bench. It felt like they controlled the game and was the difference maker overall that got them over their team over the hump, kept their team in it when they were struggling, when that matchup was close. For a
Mm-hmm.
freshman to come into that moment, I think that's so special. And I think, yes, your stars have to shine in March, but I think when teams have the edge, it's balance. It's the X
Mm-hmm.
factors. It's who else can step up. It's who's going to give us that extra bucket to really pull away. That's the thing for me that I'm watching out for. And to your point, like, this is going to be interesting to see how teams get their lick back, because this is the final four of rematches. I
Yes.
love the fashion that they're doing this. Like, obviously, South Carolina got blown out last year by UConn. You get them back in the Final Four to get the championship game. That's a possibility. And then UCLA, you could have been the number one overall seed, but the whole thing
Mm.
was Texas having that lone loss to Texas. Now you get it back. And then if you
Wow.
go chalk in the championship, UConn versus UCLA, that was also last year's Final Four rematch.
Yeah.
Like,
I didn't even think
there's
about
so
that.
many there's so many rematches. Like, it is your opportunity to say, "Hey, I'm legit. I'm here, and we're ready to become champions." But we have to show and kind of prove ourselves in a sense that we aren't the same. What you saw
Mhm.
last year does not define us. We're here now, and we're ready to make noise.
In life in general, you don't get an opportunity to get a second chance at a lot of things. And I love that that is played out here. Um, okay, I love the battle of the freshmen to see if they show up on this big stage. On the other side, the one thing that I want to get your thoughts on is
Mhm,
that UCLA and Texas, throughout the whole season and throughout really Lauren Bett's whole career, is that UCLA could say, "We have 6, 7 Lauren Betts and you don't."
mhm,
That's our advantage. That's what we have. I feel, and I want to know if you agree, that
mhm.
Texas is the team that that doesn't really work on. That's really the
1000%.
only team in the country that you have to come with something else. It has to be something else. You have Cunningham who starts. You have Carlton, who I am Justice Carlton's biggest fan. I am in her fan club because I love the way she plays. And then
Yes.
you have Olaker coming in off the bench. Like, they have size to the degree, and they
Mhm.
have a very good defensive plan and scheme and mindset. So, would you say that UCLA, you got to come with something else, because this we have 6, 7 and you don't doesn't really work in this matchup?
Not in this matchup. I think Texas size, their physicality, that shook UCLA the first time. I was there in Vegas watching that matchup, and it was very evident that they knew the game plan. Lauren Betts had 8 attempts, and you need more touches for Lauren Betts, but just being physical with her, moving her out of her spots, pushing her high into the elbow, like you have to make sure that Lauren doesn't get deep touches around the rim. She's a great passer as well, so finding cutters, the guard play was very important in this matchup that kept them in it. I do think you still have to play into Lauren Betts getting her touches, but the guard play also has to show up as well. So you can
Yeah.
stretch the defense and allow room for her to operate. Because if anything, that Michigan, I know Michigan, they're undersized. I
Oof.
think when they get a prominent like a rotation of prominent bigs, I think Michigan's going to be something serious for sure. But size was evident in that matchup versus Texas, and you could tell having that game from Kyla Odecker and even Brea Cunningham in the last matchup, I'm getting ahead of myself, but Brea Cunningham had the defensive assignment versus Lauren Betts. She's a mobile big, and she's did exactly that versus Michigan. Kyla Odecker makes you think when you get inside the paint. She alters everything. She's a great rim
Mhm.
protector. There's so much size inside for Texas, and I think it's going to be the difference maker.
Mhm.
What do you think about you can't cancel that out with this team? So
You can't.
it's going to be very interesting.
It's going to be so interesting. Oh my gosh. Okay. Final 4 games are on Friday. I gotta
Mhm.
put you on the spot because that's what we have to do. Who do
Oh,
you have
no.
coming
I
out? I know this is the worst part of our job, but I gotta do it. Who do you
Oh,
have
no.
going
It
to
is
the championship game?
okay, so coming into the tournament, I had I had UConn and UCLA, and that was easy for me. I was like, "In, submit,
Interesting. Okay.
sign it, deliver." So that was the easy choice for me. Obviously, UConn has been just blowing through teams, even outside of the Big East. And I thought UCLA as well in the Big Ten, battle tested. But Texas is on
I was
another
gonna say,
level right now.
how has that changed?
Texas, I was like, wait a minute, hold up. Texas,
Time out. Texas
you
looks
have my attention, Texas.
very different.
um, Texas looks really different. I think out of all the 1 seeds, they're the only team that's shown us they can play a full 40 minutes.
Yes,
And they've
I
done
agree.
that consistently. Defense, holding teams to under 60 points, and then holding Michigan to just 41 points.
Mhm,
UCLA has gotten off to slow starts, having to play catch up, big second halves, squeaking it out. Texas and Michigan's no slouch. They are
They
dismantling teams.
they made them look like they weren't even on the court, Autumn. They made them
They
look like
made
they
it
weren't even
difficult.
there. They were a 2 seed.
That's Texas defense. Like, it feels like 7 people are on the floor at all times. It's Texas
Yeah.
defense, and I think the difference maker I was talking to Madison Booker, and she was like, "We're not that same Final Four team," and I believe her because I'm seeing
Mm,
it. The perimeter scoring has been the
mhm,
difference maker. I know Jordan Lee didn't have the best game in the last matchup shooting-wise, but this entire tournament, I wanna say she's had double figures in every game, and I wanna say it's been about 15, 17 points she's putting up for them.
mhm.
Big time 3-point shooter. She can get downhill. Also an elite defender as well. I
Yeah.
think the perimeter scoring, the balanced attack outside of the duo of Madison Booker and Rory Harmon can take them to the championship game.
Okay.
I
And
think
then
so.
do you have UConn or Texas winning?
You
I
see,
saw you in there
you see
just
how I
trying to slide. You're too good at this. You do this for
thank
a
you.
living, and I
And
gotcha.
you just bring it
Gotcha.
right on back. Dang it. So you you do this as well for a living. Wow. Do I okay, so I would put now Texas in there, And I
Mhm.
think South Carolina's been playing really good too, but I don't see AZ Fudd and Sarah Strong have another slow game like we saw last time. I don't see that back to back.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna stay firm with that. Wouldn't be surprised at all if South Carolina came in. And
I know.
I would say, okay, here's the thing. I have different combinations. So if South Carolina gets through and Texas gets through, I think I'd give the edge to South Carolina for a
Oh,
championship.
okay. Okay, I like that.
That's it. That's
That's fun.
it. Ah, this is scary. I don't know. I'm just winging it. Go off my gut,
You're winging
people.
it. Go with your gut. Go with your gut.
No, I do see that because I mean, the rotations, you got Tesha Johnson hitting big time threes. She got
Mhm.
going late in the game. That I could see her getting going early. Joyce Edwards has
Okay.
been on another level, very Asia Wilson esque down
Yes, she's
there.
playing really
Medina
well.
Okot as well. Like this team's deep and they're
Mhm.
consistent
Mhm.
offensively. Raven Johnson's been finding her own buckets, and I need another 28-point Tanaya Latson performance because that is her.
Absolutely.
That is
Yeah.
literally her. If they
If
have
that
that,
happens, yeah, now that's scary. That puts him in a whole nother level. Okay, I'm
and you
gonna
know the
tap out,
team.
tap out. I'll tap in. I'll tap in here. I
Okay,
got you.
thanks. Thank you.
I
Help.
think that it is going to be really good games, but I still have UConn having the edge over South Carolina, and I have UConn in the championship game. I
Mhm.
had always had Texas in the championship game from with my bracket, but now I feel even more confident saying that they're going to be in that championship game big if they are this team that we have been seeing all tournament long. We need that
Yeah.
consistency of how they have been playing, and we need that Madison Booker to show up at the final four. So
Mhm,
that is what I'll say. And
mhm.
then UConn, Texas. Now, I have done so many of these talking head things, and a couple people were like, I got Texas. I got Texas. And I was like, you are crazy. But
Mhm,
now, let me
mhm,
just say that
mhm.
to your point, Texas has not shown any blips, any blemishes, any mistakes, or anything that would put doubt in your mind. They have not shown
Mhm.
it to us. They have dismantled anybody who has come in front of them. UConn has done that all year long, but in the
Yeah,
tournament, there were some shaky halves. There were some shaky quarters. There were some moments in that Notre Dame game where Gino was looking like, okay, how are we going to stop this run? Like there were times where they were shook up a little bit. Now, they still were able to win, and it's funny to say an 18-point win was them barely inching it out, but there were times in those games where it was a little off. I would say the same for
yeah,
UCLA. Slow starts. South Carolina
yeah,
has always had slow starts to
yeah,
overcome. That has kind of been a part of their DNA. And if they do that against UConn, the hole is going to be too big. And we saw that in the
yeah,
championship game as well. So I still have UConn and Texas. I want it to be UConn, but I would be equally as happy if
yeah,
Texas wins the national championship. Honestly, if any iteration, it's going to be great. But
yeah,
UConn wins, we're all gonna take a deep breath and say, we knew it, we told you so, undefeated. If Texas wins, we're gonna say, what a run. That is
yes,
incredible and they deserved to win this title because they fought for it. And that's
for
what's
sure.
going to be so fun about it. So I just want them to show up so bad, Autumn. I just want it to
I need
be
it.
the Texas that we know. I
I
can't I'm going to be sitting right here how sad I am if we don't get this version of Texas in Phoenix. That's all.
And if we do, I hope we do as well. I see them carrying over because the sense of urgency and level of hunger that they have. And I also think if it comes down to it, this team, Texas, will not be starstruck of the name across the jersey because they've already played them before in 2023.
Mm,
And it looks a little different, but Madison Booker, she was in this matchup. Um, and AZ Fudd, she was on the bench. But I think just the fact that, Madison, Rory played in this matchup, those two alone, like they've seen it already. Now it's just
mhm,
getting everyone else, but I don't think that shakes them truly.
mhm.
Like, playing in the SEC, I don't think they
Not
fear
much
any
shakes you. Yeah, not much shakes you
like,
when you're in the SEC.
but
Yeah,
I think the
and
familiarity helps, you know?
for sure. And I think of, this is what I was saying the other day, when you have teams like a Notre Dame or, other teams that UConn has played throughout the tournament where they made them look like real people, not superhuman, not on this pedestal that we've kind of had UConn on all season. And you can
Right.
say, oh, we see the cracks. Like we can exploit what Notre Dame did really well at the beginning of that
Yeah.
game to rattle them. Okay, if I'm
Mhm.
South Carolina, I'm like, let's watch that game film. What did they do? What was going on? But also to your point, AZ Fudd is not going to have a game like that again. Sarah Strong struggled in that first half. I don't think that's going to happen again. But how they played Sarah Williams by sagging in the paint, that's something that could happen again. Does Gino just not even start her? Like those type of adjustments are what makes these coaches get paid the way that they do. They're going to have to make these adjustments really quickly, and we're going to get to see that in real time. And whoever makes the best adjustments are going to win these matchups. So,
Who knows
woo!
Gino better than anyone, though? Don Staley.
I know,
They
right?
played each other so many times, so I think that's also an interesting matchup in itself, the coach matchup.
Man. Well, we know who's going to win the best fit. Can't wait to see
Oh,
what Don comes out because that's
easily.
a no-brainer.
Come on.
Easy win for Don.
Louis Vuitton Dawn.
Louis Vuitton Don. Okay, well, I first Friday. Actually, you can take your time of getting here because
Thank
I was
you.
about to say you can't get here soon enough, but you can take your
There's
time
too many
because
things that can
there's
happen, and
too
it's
many,
stressing me out. Like, I was so
too
sure
many
until
things.
now. There's way too many factors in this.
Okay, well, we're gonna take a break, and then when we come back, we're gonna talk about the other thing that's happening on Friday. Just a little expansion draft to see what these two other teams are going to look like, and then we're gonna talk about the Houston Comets. They're back. We're gonna talk about it on the other side. Welcome back to the Women's Hoop Show. And we talked a lot about college, but there's this other thing like, the WNBA that is the 30th season is about to start. And we knew that once the ink was dry on the CBA, which we love and we're so excited about, that it was going to be full throttle, go, 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 nonstop until opening day. And that is what we have, Autumn. We have news breaking, we have expansion draft coming up. And I want to start with the huge news that happened over these past couple days. And that is the Connecticut Sun team is being sold and relocated to Houston, to the ownership of the Houston Rockets. They have said that they are going to bring back the Comets name and branding in 2027 for a record $300 million. Let's just pause right there because a historic $300 million sale. The Houston Comets folded in 2008 because no one would buy them for $12 million. And now they are being resold for $300 million. So if you don't want to believe that the league is growing and is in a total different stratosphere, those numbers alone should do a
That's
lot
incredible.
of the talking. So now, on the other side of that, the Connecticut Sun.
Mhm.
Will the history of the Sun kind of morph into the history of the Comets with the first four WNBA championships in WNBA history, the dynasty, or does the Connecticut Sun kind of end here? I have so many questions and I know it's so bittersweet, but what are your thoughts on this sale? Because it's really shaken up the WNBA world.
Oh, for sure. I mean, because obviously for Connecticut, I was heartbroken for the fans, for the community, even some of my journalist friends out there who call the games.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's not going to be there anymore after this last season, they're going to relocate. I mean, you talk about a franchise just a few years ago who were on the brink of a championship with AT, DV, Bree Jones in that era, and to just see it kind of go away, it is a little sad. So this last ride of this season is going to be bittersweet. In the same breath, I really am excited that we're getting, an OG franchise back in the Houston Comets. Like that's so exciting to me. Restoring WNBA history. I mean, the first WNBA championships, the Comets own that. Iconic legends. You got Cheryl Swoops, Tina Thompson, Cynthia Cooper.
Yeah.
I can only imagine, like, them sitting on the sidelines and just
Yes.
enjoying the games. I it's nostalgic to me, like, the jerseys, I'm excited for the rollout, the layout, everything about it, the marketing, just the revamp as a whole, the great
Mhm.
location as well to pull up to games, great sports location, you name it. I'm really excited. It felt like a really cool move, but
Mhm.
obviously in the same breath, very heartbroken for Sun fans.
Yeah, that's the part that makes it a little icky. I
It's
felt like
weird
the
to celebrate.
writing yeah, the writing was on the wall that the WNBA wanted a team in Houston. And we
Mhm,
don't know the ins and outs of why, but it just feels like Kathy Engelbert has been leaving breadcrumbs that Houston would
mhm,
be the next team. Now, we all thought that would be an expansion. And then when they weren't announced as an expansion city, it was like, okay. So, through the history of this sale, the Mohegan Sun tribe is the last independent owners of a WNBA franchise. Everyone else has NBA ties. And so there was this idea of wanting it to remain independent. And I felt like that's what they wanted. And not only that, they wanted to keep it in the same area geographically. They wanted the fans to still be able to have a team to root for. This is a franchise that came from the Orlando Miracle, and then they
mhm,
were to Connecticut, and a former Boston Celtics president was wanting to buy the team, and we saw sold out games at TD Garden. Boston showed up for this WNBA team, and everyone started getting excited about that. And the WNBA was like, hold up, no, we don't think so. We're actually not approving that. You're a former Boston Celtics owner. I don't know. That doesn't really sit right. Even going as far as saying if the current Boston Celtics ownership wants to bid in, we'll consider that, but not former. So it
yeah,
was just this weird thing of like this agenda of wanting to put it with NBA teams. And I feel like there is this, I don't know, sense of legitimacy, sense of infrastructure that's already there if it's an NBA franchise, but it always gives me pause because that was an NBA franchise that pieced out on them in the early 2000s. Like the NBA
mhm,
franchise teams, when the WNBA hit a hard spot, they left. So
mhm,
why would you kind of want to jump back with them? But I feel for these Connecticut fans. I hope that we have a season long, goodbye tour to the
yeah,
Connecticut Sun. I hope we bring legends back.
mhm,
If Tina Charles, was
mhm,
drafted by the Sun, she came back there. If she decides to retire from there, all of
mhm,
those things I hope we get because it's just going to be weird to not have the Connecticut Sun in
yeah.
rotation just next as soon as next season. That's like bizarre.
It's insane, yeah, no, it's, like, no time to really, like, mourn it, it's, like, this year and that's it,
Mhm.
just, like, a few months throughout the season to have that farewell tour for either fans from other cities to pull up and see their favorite team come and their favorite players on that team, so it is gonna be weird, and I just hope it's done right more than anything, the rollouts, each arena, just paying homage to a historic, iconic franchise.
Yeah, yeah. And I also wanna point out, like we had mentioned, this isn't because the Sun are bad. Like, they just had
Mhm.
really one bad season because everybody left, but they were just in the finals. Like, they've been
That's
in
all I
the
was saying, brink of
playoffs.
a
Like,
championship.
yes, they've
Like
been really good. So it's not like this is like, they were in last place or towards the end of last place.
no.
Let's boot this team to Houston. No, they were good and they have been hanging around towards the middle to the top for a
Mhm.
really long time. So this is not because of that. Yeah. So excited to see the rollout of the Houston Comets, but also this farewell tour in the 30th season of the WNBA. That should be really good.
Mhm.
Okay. Last thing on the agenda is the expansion draft autumn. We had
Yes.
an expansion draft with the Valkyries just last year, but this
Yes.
is 2 teams, which I feel like is just even spicier and like
Mhm.
so exciting. These expansion draft teams have been twiddling their thumbs during the CBA negotiations. They couldn't talk to anybody. They couldn't really do anything. So I'm really excited for them to like get their moment in this
Yes.
expansion draft. They've just been doing nothing. So I'm excited.
I'm excited as well. I wish it wasn't on the Final Four
I
so
know.
it can
What the
have its own
heck?
day, its own moment. But I'm super excited because a roster will be built out and it'll be exciting to see who that'll be. Who got that dog in them?
Rocky had some thoughts. He's gonna be really
He's
excited for
excited
the
too.
expansion draft. Okay, let's explain this because if you maybe you're just tuning in to the WNBA this year, but even if you know the Valkyrie expansion draft was the first one since 2008, since your Atlanta Dream. So it has
Mhm,
been a really long time since we've had an expansion draft, and especially if it's 2 teams. So I just want to let's just kind of roll through it. The most interesting part is that each existing team gets to protect 5 players. That is not a lot of players, but you get to protect your 5 and those are off limits. Those have a big like X on them. You cannot draft those players. The rest of the players on the roster, free game. Free game. You can pick anyone you want. And it's going to be a snake draft style. It was determined by a coin flip, which I love when a coin flip gets involved. It
mhm.
just feels like
Iconic.
we're just playing a board game. This is all a game. We're making it up as we go, people. In a coin flip, so Portland gets the number 1 pick, and then the Tempo get the higher draft pick in the college draft. So it was kind of opposite there. And so from the pool of players, these teams are going to build a portion of their roster because I also want to
Mhm,
point out someone messaged me this. This isn't the only way they're building their roster. This is
mhm,
one part. So they're building their roster from the expansion draft, from the college draft, and from players who are overseas or just unsigned. Like they
mhm.
could just have a tryout essentially of how to
Yep.
get this done. So there are many ways that they can bring in to make this happen. Um, but yeah, you protect your teams. We don't know who is protected, by the way. It is going to be a surprise to everybody who gets drafted. There's not a list that's released. We get to see people make predictions. Like I think the Aces would protect Asia Wilson. I think that's a pretty good prediction.
Mhm.
But
I could
the
see
other
it.
I could see that. Yeah, I could see that.
Mhm.
The other part that makes it interesting is free agency. So we've talked
Yeah.
about it. 80% of the league are free agents. And the little
Mhm,
wrinkle here is that if you're Portland and you draft a free agent, you could say, hey, come over here. We're going to offer you the super max. Like, we want you to be our person. But
mhm.
they could also say, okay, that's interesting. I'm still shopping around. Like I'm still looking. I could go sign with the Minnesota Lynx because they also have a really interesting offer and they're closer to a championship. So you
Yeah.
drafted me, but I don't necessarily have to sign with you because they're not under contract. The
Yeah.
difference with that last year is like everyone, Kate Martin, she was still on her rookie contract. So the Valkyries just absorbed that contract and she is on their team. There are
Mhm.
a few of those rookie contracts out there, but otherwise, you have to really sell. You have to be a salesperson to make the person want to sign with you. What do you make of all
Yeah.
this, Autumn? I was
Oh,
talking.
I wanna play on what you just said because you have to be on your in your bag when it comes to this because of the CBA These women are getting paid now. Shopping
Mhm.
around is going to be the biggest key to all this because there's going to be different package deals, different incentives, everything. Like, who do I want to spend my pro career with? Like, facilities also, like, win now mentality. Who can I
Mm.
pair up with? There's so many things that's going to factor into this. And I think that wrinkle comes with the free agency. Like, we don't know where teams are going to sign. Who wants to be the new face of these new teams if they are willing to have that rebuild type of mindset. I could see if it's like a younger star who's looking to create something around
Yep.
themselves. I know this league is like you have to have a dominant big, like
Mhm.
obviously Asia Wilson to succeed in this league. But if I were to like go with a point guard, um, 2 point guards actually, like I think of a Ari McDonald or a Dana Evans who's like super young
Mm.
and they can build around this point guard. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it kind of depends where you are in your career, um, that what route you want to take. So this could be really interesting.
It could be so interesting. And I just want to hammer home that there is so much talent right now around the WNBA. And that is why we have a team like the Valkyries who was just in this position and then became a playoff team that same year. Because it's not like this drop off that we have talked about for so many years and how
Yeah.
expansion teams have kind of looked like in the past. There is a lot of talent. I'm using this from Her Hoop Stats, and they kind of did a mock team, like each team who they would protect, right? And I just
Hmm.
scrolled and I stopped on a random team and I stopped on the Indiana Fever. Here is what they are predicting that they would protect: Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, Lexi Hull, Kelsey Mitchell, Sophie Cunningham. Okay,
Okay.
that still leaves Natasha Howard, Ari McDonald, Damiris Dantis, Sydney
Mm,
Colson, Brianna Turner, Chloe
mm.
Bibby, who was huge for them before she got hurt, Michaela Timpson, who's still on her rookie contract, and Christy Wallace is still a part of that franchise. That is so many options just right there to be able to build some really key points of your roster. And
Whew.
that's just one team. That's just one
This is one
team.
team. I'm scrolling as well, and there's a lot of names available. And you think about it, like that 6 man off the bench, that's
Mhm.
how we saw the Valkyries dominate. Like, oh man, we let go of Kayla Thornton, and now she's hooping on another team. We're gonna see that
She's an
again. Think
all-star.
of a
She's an
She's an
all-star for another
all-star. Think
team.
of a Naz
Yeah.
Hillman. You need these players. So these aren't just like, oh, like, okay, like they're protecting the superstars. They'll be fine. Like they're not going to do much. No, they could do a lot of damage with the pickups that they're getting. There's so much talent across this league, 1 through 5, the bench pieces, like everything and more. It doesn't matter. If you play in the W, you're a problem. And I think if you pick the right people in the right roles, yeah, you could create something very special with these teams.
Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
Okay, last one, last example. The Sparks is impossible. That is a really
Ooh.
hard job of who you protect because right now, according to this prediction, Rakia Jackson, Cameron Brink, Kelsey Plum,
Yeah.
De'Erica Hamby, and Azare Stevens. But that leaves Ray
Ray
Burrell, who
Burrell.
had an incredible offseason
I
in
get her immediately.
Unrivaled. You pick her in a top pick and offer her a shiny contract, and now she is the face of a new franchise where she was coming off the bench for a loaded Sparks team.
Yeah.
And how are you the Sparks? Like, okay, just stay. Please trust in us that you're going to get more minutes. No, go get your bag and go be the face of the Toronto
Yeah.
Tempo. Like that's where these opportunities could really, really, oh my God, this is going to be so crazy. I'm just thinking about
With
this.
facilities.
Oh my goodness.
With
This is
facilities.
gonna be
A bag,
wild.
everything. The resources. Yeah. Immediately. Ooh. No,
This is
I
gonna be crazy.
it
It's like
is.
really
And
hitting me how this is all going to be happening on the same day, but
Friday.
I'm so excited.
I am too. We have a
Woo!
jam-packed day, but it's gonna be really good,
It's
and
gonna be good.
I'm excited to see what comes out of it.
We're all
Woo!
going to be surprised. The one thing I don't
Yeah.
know is, are the players also going to be surprised? Do they have any
Hmm.
heads up that they were protected or not protected? Or are we all sitting on the couch like reacting real time? I don't
I
know.
don't
I'm
know.
so curious about
That's a
that.
good point. I have no idea. Hopefully, everyone's on Threads, and we can just chat.
Yes, you can just chat.
Please,
We can
everyone
chat on
lock
Threads.
in.
It's gonna be crazy. But I feel like this is a perfect segue into the announcement that I teased at the beginning of the show, because you know there is so much going on in the world of women's basketball, and so I have an announcement. You already know we are in the most consequential offseason in WNBA history, with a brand new CBA term sheet, locked, loaded, 2 expansion teams, and over 100 free agents. It is as if the league is being rebuilt from the ground up. There will be more deals, more drama, and flat out everything than we've seen before. So, starting this Saturday, the day after the expansion draft and the semifinals, we're going to be dropping daily episodes on this feed in a brand new series produced with Mosh Audio. If you're wading through more hoops news than you know what to do with, block off 15 minutes every afternoon to hang with us on the Women's Hoop Show. We'll help you cut through the noise daily. Did you hear that,
Let's
Autumn? Woo!
go. So needed. Very much necessary. Because yes, there's so
Yes,
much going on, and I need someone to talk to. Like, what's
I
going
got
on?
you. I
Please let us
got
know.
you.
Inform us. Inform us. Let us know. I want to know thoughts. I want to know hot takes. I want to know it all. It's like really cool to see the breaking news, but we need the insight. Like,
Yeah,
what are the thoughts
we got to
behind it?
talk
So
about it.
very
And
necessary.
thank you. Well,
I'm
I
so
will
excited.
volunteer as tribute to be your
Hold it
daily
down.
women's basketball ear, because I got you. I'm
Hold
so
it
excited about
down,
this.
Jordan.
And there's so much to talk about. I think this episode alone could have been 3 hours.
Yeah.
So we are just going to give you little doses of women's hoops. So make sure to listen, share it. I will be posting about it, posting clips from it. It's going to be so fun. And Autumn, I can't wait
Yes.
to give you the biggest hug in Phoenix. I can't
I
wait to
know.
see
I'm
you.
so excited to see you. I'll
It's
see
going to
you
be so
quite
fun.
often this week, actually. Like, we're locked in the whole week. This never
What? Okay, I
happens.
know. Can we? I don't know if we can say
Should we?
it.
I don't
Oh,
either.
I don't know
But
if
I'll
we
see
can
you
say it.
soon, girl.
Okay, we'll see you soon. We'll see you soon. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow on your favorite podcast app so you never miss an update. Your support means the world. And if you're feeling generous, leaving a quick rating or review helps more Hoops fans discover the show. And you can now see us on our brand new YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe there. Shoot us an email at women'shoops@odyssey.com to tell us what's on your mind. We want to hear your hottest takes, your burning questions, and all your feelings about all things women's hoops. We just might feature your note on the show. That's women'shoops@odyssey.com. The Women's Hoop Show is an Odyssey original podcast hosted by me, Jordan Robinson. My guest today was Autumn Johnson. Our producer is Phil Sweetek. Our video team is led by Kurt Courtney and includes Tim Meikle, Evan Cox, Allison Jeffrey, and Lauren Vieira. Our executive producers are Greg Holtzman, Asha Saluja, Danny Freisinger, Maddie Sprunkheiser, and Leah Reese-Dennis. And special thanks to Moira Curran and Josephina Francis.